Welcome to Sportscaster News Tuesday morning edition. I'm Lawrence Owen, and today we're going over Monday Night Football, Rams versus the Buccaneers. Now, this is something that was a little bit interesting to me. I realized, if you watch this game, that neither the Rams nor the Buccaneers really ran the football at all until the fourth quarter of this game. This is a game where you expect Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, multiple people on the Buccaneers to be able to run this football, even against the Rams defense. They'd at least try. Cam Akers and Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, those guys, you would think that they would run the football more, but they didn't. The Rams didn't run the football until near the fourth quarter when it was time, when it was near the end of the game. They were trying to run the clock out with the lead. That's where the majority of their runs came from. This is a game that legitimately had 99 total passes in it. Jared Goff threw the ball 51 times. Tom Brady threw it 48 times. Who's the winner of this? Oh, it was unquestionably Jared Goff. Jared Goff out-gunslinged Tom Brady. And not because Tom Brady wasn't trying. And not because Tom Brady wasn't out there throwing pretty good passes sometimes. Or most of the time. The fact of the matter is that the Los Angeles Rams defense played very tight, physical pass defense in this game. Now, they paid for it early in this game when there was multiple pass interference calls on the defense of the Rams. Now, whether or not I agree with some of these calls, that begs to differ. There was one where I feel as though absolutely that the offensive player, the receiver, should have been flagged rather than the defensive player. But that doesn't really matter on the end part of this game because it did not change how they approached this game. They were still being very, very aggressive on the back end of this defense. And that's what made this game go. They forced a lot of incomplete passes because Tom Brady was throwing the ball, hitting his receivers, but the ball was just getting knocked out at the point where it contacted the receiver. Very good defense, very good pass defense by this Los Angeles Rams secondary. Now, in this game, Tom Brady had two interceptions. One of which was all on him. It was a 2-minute warning, down by 3, driving with the game on the line, trying to at least get a field goal to get into overtime. Still had plenty of time, still had timeouts, everything. He completely overthrows his receiver by at least 10 yards and then gets intercepted. Ends the game. The normal Tom Brady heroics was not in this game. The other interception that Tom Brady threw was really an incredible play by the safety where he broke on the ball as Tom Brady was throwing it, watching Tom Brady's eyes. I don't know if Tom Brady even saw him with the defensive lineman in his face. But it was a very, very good defensive play on that interception. Right now, Tom Brady has 10 interceptions on the year. He is averaging almost one interception a game. This is not your normal Tom Brady. Tom Brady has more interceptions right now at this part of the NFL season than Phillip Rivers. All right? That's got to say something. Now, like I said, some of this can be put on the Rams defense. Jared Goff had a great game. 39 of 51. Wow. That's a high completion percentage when you're throwing 51 times. 376 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, one of those interceptions was a very interesting interception where he had pressure in his face. He was throwing the running back screen, and he threw it to where the running back was, where he thought the running back would be. But the running back wasn't in the spot where he was supposed to be. He threw it behind the running back, and Jason Pierre-Paul intercepted the football, and ran it back. Let's talk about somebody's one heck of a first half. Cooper Kupp ended the game with 11 receptions, 145 yards. But 10 of those catches and 110 of those yards was in the first half. He had a heck of a half. Robert Woods ended up with 12 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. This was a great passing game. I think LA went more pass heavy because Tampa's got a really good run defense. But they're a little soft on the back end. So I think they took that in consideration when walking into this game going, you know what, Jared? We're going to trust you and Kupp and Josh Reynolds and Gerald Everett and all these guys that you have, Tyler Higbee. Van Jefferson even had a catch. Van Jefferson had his first touchdown of his career in this game. And it was the only catch he had, 7-yard touchdown. But this was a very, very good offensive day for Jared Goff and a day that he needed it. Because now the Los Angeles Rams, I'm fairly certain, are tops in their division. Let's go look at the standings right now with Tampa Bay losing and the Rams winning. The Rams now are top over the Seattle Seahawks, over the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West now. They have the inside track. They're one game behind the New Orleans Saints right now in the NFC. Tampa Bay now falls a full 2 games behind the New Orleans Saints. They have, where the Saints are 8-2, Tampa Bay is 7-4. So they have 2 more losses than what the New Orleans Saints have. This is not a good situation. The only thing that at 7-4, are they out of trouble? No. I mean, they really, the only trouble they have is whether or not they lose later on. They've got a pretty weak schedule. You're expecting 3 teams this year to come out of the NFC West, considering if it was up to me, no one from the NFC East would make this playoffs. No one. If Chicago or Minnesota is able to step up and win some games in a row, they have a shot, but I doubt it because they're still 2 or 3 games behind Tampa Bay with only a few games left, 6. Tampa would really have to fold, and really I don't see them folding because Tom Brady's not that guy. He's got too many weapons out there and a really, really good run defense. But what good is a really good run defense when other teams are going to have to pass to beat you because you're throwing the ball so much? Pretty simple. It comes into effect early in the game when teams are trying to keep Tom Brady and this high-powered offense off the field, much the same way that you would look at trying to stop Patrick Mahomes and that high-powered offense. You would try to keep Tampa Bay off the field by running the football, eating the clock, wearing that defense down. With Tampa Bay having a very solid run defense, that helps prevent that from happening. Now, yesterday in the pregame stream, I actually said that there could be a safety, that Tom Brady could be safetied in this game. Tom Brady was literally 1/10 of a second away from being safetied in this game. He was hit in the backfield with his arm up in throwing motion. The arm came down, and he barely moved his hand forward before the ball came out of his hand. I almost got that prediction right, but all of us last night said that this would not be a high-scoring game, that no team would score more than 30, and guess what? That's exactly what happened. 27-24, the Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a very, very good game, but I never felt like Tampa Bay had really much of a shot. I felt like LA was in control the entire game. Even when the game was tied, I was like, wow, LA's defense is manhandling Tampa Bay. And I mean it felt like Tampa Bay took advantage of good field position when they scored their points majority of the time. And um, penalties on the Rams in their secondary. Couple pass interferences played huge parts in putting points up on the board for Tampa Bay. This game legitimately, if it wasn't for those pass interferences, could have been a blowout because some of those passes that were deep were ugly by Tom Brady. That late game interception, bad overthrow. He was lucky he didn't get an interception on a sideline pass that he underthrew terribly. He just looked out of sync with his receivers. And it could have been just a simple fact that he could not step up into some of these passes. That one pass that was underthrown, he had a guy dead in his face. All he could do was throw it with his arm. He could not step into it like Tom Brady would have to do at his age and use his body and momentum to throw the football. All he could do was use his arm. And if you do that to Tom Brady, odds are you're going to win the game. So I want to thank everybody that joined me here on Sportscaster. Hey, JBPBBY and Janie, thank you so much for joining on Sportscaster. If you're not in the live chat right now, out of the 40 people that's watching live right now, I didn't name you off. That means you don't have a profile. Please, you know the drill. Go right up here to the top corner, make a profile. It's very simple. Just click those three little dots, scroll down, make a profile. Click wherever on there. You know, you can link it to your Twitter, your Facebook, your email. It doesn't take like 15 seconds. It's very, very quick and easy and free. And free. And then you can join in the chat. You could ask questions. You can comment on what I'm talking about. You could hit the like button. Let me know, please. JB and Janie, please hit that like button. Let me know that you enjoy what I'm talking about here. I appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen for Sportscaster News. And as usual, I want you to have a good one.